Yeah.
I want to get canceled. I'm trying to, but I can't. I guess I gotta have.
You're begging for it.
I gotta have a platform first, right? It's literally I want to get a platform from this podcast solely so I can get canceled. No, we talked about money was my motive, but it's not.
You will get canceled at some
canceled.
point if you do get big enough.
I'm hoping.
There's enough dirt on you.
I'm hoping. Yeah. That's why I leave everything out in the open. I won't delete any of my stuff I put out.
Your podcast could just be dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You're just airing it out.
That's what this is going to be. All right. Welcome to the Provo Exposed podcast. It's still the name of this podcast. We'll see. We're working on rebranding, so maybe we'll brainstorm some ideas here. But we're going with the name, we're going with the brand, and so we have one of Provo's most popular people in the last decade, probably, to come out of Provo. That wasn't like an athlete or anything like that. So she promotes herself well. She's a great gal, soon to be my sister-in-law, actually. So that's why I felt bad at just inviting her and not bringing on my brother as well. So we have Abigail.
Sympathy invite.
Exactly. Abigail Keenan and Tanner Field. Give it up.
Honored.
There we go.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're all happy to have you. I'm happy to have you because, I think people will be excited to hear from you. I've gotten, ever since I posted when you did propose, and I posted on my story, reposted my story that you guys were engaged and I was going to have a sister-in-law, people were like, you're going to be sisters, Abby's going to be your sister-in-law, and they're just stoked. I was like, dang, I didn't realize.
Guess what? She's going to be my wife.
Yeah, that's
which is crazy.
That is kind of nuts. I will say that. I wanted to get in. We want to ask you questions. We want to know how you made it out of Provo, a superstar. I'm sure many people listening are aspiring to do the same thing. I will say this. You are, if I'm being honest, you are an awful influence to many young women growing up in Utah right now, or just within the, LDS culture. And that's because you actually made it as a photographer. Like, and you're actually making real money.
I was like, shoot, where's this going? Yeah, it's kind of weird. I went to high school and there definitely were a lot of photographers. And I think it can go both ways. And I think it helped because there were so many from an early age. I was like, okay, I've really got to differentiate myself with what I'm doing, because it's very saturated. So I think it helped me in that case that there were so many. And I got wrecked by my brother and my cousin, who's pretty much my brother, like all through high school. Oh, you're taking photos. Like, you're going up the canyon taking photos. And it was funny until I started making money. And then they were like, oh, this is like serious. Like, she's going to do this. So that helped out.
And I'll say a lot of people I've been around people who are photographers, right, in Utah. And seen them do shoots and take photos and whatever, and I'm just kind of like, there's nothing really special there. But for a lot of photographers, they just buy a nice camera and they shoot, and then they make a couple presets, buy a couple presets, and call it good. Where when I'm around Abby, I feel like I've seen her, the way she, like, her angles and her vision is like just so completely different than a lot of other photographers that I've been around. And I was like, oh, she's a real photographer. Like, that's like the way she sees the vision, sees different colors that I like don't see from a regular eye is really cool. So I think she has definitely a unique talent there.
So you see color well.
Tell stories, I guess. I like to portray stories and have a journalistic perspective to it, and like socially balance it. I think some people, when they're really trying to get into photography, I did the same thing. I brought my camera everywhere in high school, brought it to like all the basketball games, just hanging out with friends. And I think balancing when you have the camera out and when you don't, because I don't know, you gotta like just balance it and not annoy people and just photograph them all the time. You have to like read the room and figure out when to take photos, when not to, and then give them all the photos. Like, don't just sit there and hog them all. Like in high school, that was my favorite thing, was to go shoot the basketball games and then give all the athletes the photos, because they were sitting there screenshotting Deseret News and like just kind of very boring black and white photos, and they would post these like pixelated photos, and I'm like, why is no one giving these guys like these really good basketball players and football players and all the different athletes, like why are they not getting good photos when the yearbook and different people are photographing them all the time. And then obviously Instagram was like just starting. So everyone wants to post on Facebook of the basketball game or the high school dance, and to be able to give those photos really quick to them so they didn't even have to ask me was something I did in high school that was like really fun and helped me out later on, I guess.
Yeah, and you did go to a good kind of high school for this opportunity because you, Lone Peak, national champs in both basketball and suicide rate.
Oh, jeez. That's true. It was...
So both.
It did...
Do you want a good basketball team?
It had... It brought on...
Give me a take.
It brought on that conversation very early on, which it was crazy to think back in sophomore year that we were talking about suicide, and it was a very transparent thing. I think, looking back, I think the teachers handled it very well, and I think it's very difficult to find a middle ground. Like, you can sit there and not talk about it, and then you get in trouble for not talking about it, and then you sit there and you talk about it all class, and everyone leaves like, okay, this is a really serious topic, but like, this is like affecting my mental health, which at the time I like wasn't as broadcasted mental health, but now like, yeah,
it's brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
It's talked about more.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much. That's
Anyways,
more such a joke, but keep it light.
Take it light.
I did want to ask, because you talked about how growing up when you were starting out, like everyone was being a photographer. How did you, like, how old were you like when this happened, and what did you have like a specific plan how you were going to separate yourselves, or did it just naturally start happening?
I did a reflections program in 9th grade. So I grew up in California, and then I moved to Utah when I was in 9th grade. And I moved, and it was middle school, and they have this like competition in English class where you have to submit an essay. And so I submitted a poem or whatever, and I put a photo with it, and I ended up winning for the photo. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. This is different. Like, I'm used to just being around.
What was the photo?
Like a piece of grass. It was like a blade of grass with like
Do you have it?
dew on it. Yeah, it's at my parents' house.
Okay, put it up. And
my parents, I mean, I was just so used to being around the athletic achievements of a school, and then to be part of like the artistic achievements, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then from there, I would have a point and shoot, and I would take photos with it, and I would sell it, use that money, buy a nicer one, and I did that a couple times. Till then in high school, when I feel like yearbook really helped me differentiate. I was doing portraits at that time and weddings, and I knew that was fun and that was a fun way to make money. But when I then did yearbook, and I could be a part of the game, be a part of the team, document these moments that these kids are going to remember forever. I mean, they do too with a wedding, but to really differentiate with sports is what, like, something else went off where I was like, this is really what I want to do.
So you decided to take that niche of sports.
Yeah. And I
still do weddings.
Yeah, still do weddings, still be able to figure out a way later to make money with sports. I knew sports was never going to be the way to make money, but I feel like I was always looking around, and there was no one by my side photographing the games. Like, there would be a yearbook kid here and there, but they had to go. They were assigned to go. Where I would go to the games, like, that I didn't have to go and that I loved to go because my friends were playing. And then all the other people taking photos were like 65 years old next to me. And I'm like, this is like kind of different and kind of fun. And I think that's a good path to go when I'm looking around. And it's a saturated market, but this is a different avenue that I can differentiate myself. And like being a blonde girl who's like, everyone's like, who's this? Like, what is she doing? Like, not taken seriously. And then to be able to
we don't take
switch
blonde
it up.
seriously.
We don't take blonde girls seriously.
We still don't, but if they got a camera.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I think it helped. I think it helped that it was saturated. I was not taken seriously, and then to like just keep going at it and try to constantly differentiate myself and really affirm that I wanted to do it.
Yeah. How old were you when you got your first paid gig, and what was it?
I was 16. I had just been taking photos. I think I had just been posting a lot of fun dance group photos, whatever, in high school, and then I was a sophomore and a senior asked me to take her senior photos. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I could probably charge for this. So I charged like $50. It was terrifying. I took her to like a couple random spots, took some photos. And then that next summer, I did video and photo at the time. So the first wedding I got, I was doing video. And then, yeah, I let them know like multiple times, like, I've never photographed a wedding before, like, let your clients know if you've never done it before, like,
Mm-hmm.
don't trick them. And, like, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we're only paying you, like, a couple $100, so it's fine. And it was fun, so. That
Yeah.
was first paid gig.
Is there a lot of photographers who try tricking?
I think they just want to come off more confident.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, you need to, like, I let all people ask me, like, I'm shooting my first wedding tomorrow. Like, what are your tips? And I'm like, let your client know. Be transparent. Ask them what they need, what they want. And, like, just fake it till you make it. Like, just fake it the whole time you're doing it. But, like, let them know, like, you haven't done this before. Because you gotta be transparent.
Could be bad.
Yeah. Could be bad.
No, that's
They don't know what they're getting themselves into.
It's definitely smart. So you took on sports that's kind of like your niche, and that kind of, do you think tackling a specific niche like helped? It obviously helped separate you.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, I'm in that same boat as a podcaster right now. Everyone tries podcasting, so, and I'm just doing it for fun as like a hobby. But like, if I ever got to the point where I made money, that'd be fun. So I gotta tackle a niche, probably, right?
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, give me advice. What do I need to do? Be real. Should I give it up?
No. I think nowadays it's a balance of putting out a ton of content, and then it's hard. They tell you put out a ton of content, and then it's hard because when you're putting it out online, you want to perfect it, and you want everything that you're producing to be refined and curated. And I think podcasting is a mix of that. I think what you're already doing, hitting the ground, getting guests every week, being consistent, it's already way farther than a lot of people that are just sitting there talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a division of putting consistent stuff out, what you're doing, and curating stuff that you like. I think having certain mentors or like certain podcasts that you like, certain ideas, constantly curating and confining that to what motivates you. Like, I think finding YouTubers when I was in high school, Casey Neistat, like, even though he was doing something completely different from what I wanted to do, his ideas and his motives and his consistency and hard work motivated me in an industry that's different than him. So I think finding mentors, finding people on the internet, luckily like nowadays you can contact people and ask their advice, and constantly learning and just finding mentors. I think that's been the greatest thing for me, is constantly having mentors to make it also look like you're proud of your milestones and you're proud of things that you're doing, but it's never enough to like take, like, I don't know. But by constantly looking up and having people inspire you, it keeps you going rather than just complacent and staying put. So I think that would probably be my advice, would just to find people in the industry that inspire you, whether it's podcasting or just any content creation, and refining that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're going to make money. So you guys had to listen to that, but I'm a seeker of knowledge, and I need to learn.
You're
because
solely in this for the money.
We're getting big. We will make money.
We love it.
We will make money.
And don't
we're
forget
getting
about
there.
me when you get big.
When
you make it.
Yeah, I probably won't, because this is going to be the one that takes me, kind of gets me jump started because of your platform. Because you got followers, right?
Sometimes they're loyal, sometimes they don't show up. We'll see.
I was just saying on Instagram Live 2 seconds ago, we were waiting for you, that every time she posts a picture or video of me doing something, I like watch. Oh my gosh, I look like such an idiot. And like 10,000 people just saw that, so it's pretty sick.
How many followers do you think you've gained since dating Abby?
Oh, they don't care about me.
None of them.
I mean, like maybe 20.
Really?
The real ones.
Still pretty
The
good.
real ones.
No, I mean that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I've gained friends. I've gained followers that are like her friends. Obviously, that I wasn't counting as that. I mean, maybe like.
We'll get a random one every
But
once
20 like random ones?
Yeah, probably like 20 randos.
That's it.
Yeah.
Conversion
Which
rate.
is kind of crazy. Because I don't really post anything that cool. I just like golf every day, and that's pretty much it.
Posting her photos now, basically.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I post every day. If you look at my Instagram feed from June of last year until now and before then, it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
Just trying to up his feed game.
It's good for you. Good.
Not that it was bad before, but
It was great.
Your aesthetic
it was okay.
is taking a step
all my
up.
photos are edited the same way,
Yeah. Got those presets.
Yeah, I got those presets.
We gotta make sure we're balancing it. Sometimes I don't want to always take the ones I like. We gotta make sure that he's putting the ones he likes up.
That's a tough relationship.
It's tough.
It's tough out here.
You fight over it?
No. I just see it. I like...
He used to hit me over things like that growing up. Did he tell you that?
What?
He's abusive.
Oh.
I should get this out of the way. You
Well,
should
when
know
you-
this.
Now,
when you act up.
You should know this now. Don't act up.
Oh, you're right. That's what these little...
You have scars.
Okay, come
Don't show
on.
them. We blurred it out. We
Cut that. That wasn't me.
We blurred it out on the camera. We don't want them. That's too graphic. We don't want charges.
I wouldn't hurt a fly.
And yeah, we're here. So this is... Tanner showed me this place. He says they come here whenever he's upset. So I don't really know where we're at either, but it's soundproof, so you can't hear
The acoustics in here are awesome.
Can't hear from the outside, no matter how loud you scream.
It's just unknown. Disclosed location. That's
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
You are notoriously known also in Provo for throwing parties.
Good times.
Tell me about that. What'd you do? What was your...
My 19th birthday, I didn't want any gifts. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to throw a dance party in my parents' backyard and just have my birthday gifts just be food, water, drinks, whatever for the guests. I feel like in Provo, I guess I was freshman year, sophomore year, we would go to these parties, but a common thread of Provo parties is there's not a one solid thing to do. There's like an interpretation of what the party is. So sometimes there's a theme, but there's never like one activity. There's like 17 things going on, which is fine. But I just wanted a solid dance party.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, we're a little older now. We're not going to play the dumb high school music. And it's not like on BYU campus, so we can play whatever we want and have it be whatever time we want and no dress code, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted a formal dance party.
No dress code.
No masks.
No masks. So I just did a formal black tie affair birthday party. There's probably like 60,
So there-
70.
so there was a dress
Facebook
code.
only.
So there was a dress code.
Dress. Yeah, but like, you know what I mean. So that was the first one. And then we did it. And my brother was a DJ. My brother's great music. He rented some
Shout out,
supplies, which is a great job. And we're like, wait, that was really fun. I want to do that again. And then I was like, is that kind of lame? Just like putting it on myself that people would come again. Like, that's kind of weird. Like, whatever. I'll just do like twice a year. So then in the spring, or back to school, I did one. So the first one was like in March. Second one was in like September. And then that one was just black and white formal, not just like, or it was just formal, not black and white.
No Asians.
Oh, jeez. And then the third one was at my parents' house, and it was formal with Nikes, which was like kind of tacky looking back, but we live and we learn. And then I started charging. I was like, let's do a venue. Let's charge people for it to cover the venue.
Mm-hmm.
That was the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth one, I'm like, I want to make money off this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kept bumping it, kept getting some friends as security, whatever. And I think I did 7 total. So by the end, I was making like $1,500-$1,600.
So the first time we actually met was at one of her parties.
The Kanye one.
Was it a paid
Kanye
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid.
I was
Shut
friends
up.
with T Street.
My boy T Street was like, and I'm...
So sometimes you gotta pay to find your future spouse.
Find true love.
Paid parties are worth
Mm-hmm.
it.
No, I mean, I'm not involved in Utah County at all. Like, I don't know anything about Utah County. I don't know anything about Provo. I've never spent more than like an hour.
Yes, hold on real quick. Yeah, Tanner, it's ironic. He's now
I'm kind of
engaged.
the anti-Provo guy.
He's engaged
It's refreshing.
to a Provo celebrity.
I have to pretend like I'm like I have no problems with BYU when we're watching sporting events, but
It's a great sport.
no,
Thank
I
you
was
for
in
that, by
Logan.
the
I went
way.
to Utah State, and my boy T Street was like, "Dude, there's this party in Provo,
He's
but
like,
it's Kanye
"Ah."
themed," and I was like, "Say no more."
He was there. He was
I'm
there
there.
early.
I'm like,
I had
I'm not
an
gonna miss
early-
a second of
I
this
had
thing.
a-
I'm turning up,
I had an early introduction to him. He had a great fit on.
of course.
What was
I
your
was
fit?
kind of running around doing stuff. He got the Wyoming hoodie
Wearing
and
the
the
bright orange Kanye
Pablo
Wyoming hoodie.
hat.
Yeah,
Like the Pablo hat.
I think so.
And he's in the background of a bunch of my photos. He had this orange
You were kind
neon.
of sneaky.
Yeah, so if you look at the photos from the party, you can see
You
my
could tell.
bright orange hoodie all over the place.
You're kind of stalking him. But...
I was like, well,
That was when the stalking began.
yeah, no. But another funny story is when we went on our first date.
Wait, was your were you there with plus one?
No.
No, that was the next
No.
one.
Oh, the
Second
next one.
one.
Second.
Ooh.
There was one in
This is
between though that he
juicy.
This
missed.
is juicy, baby.
I had the Kanye,
Yeah.
and then I had the Space Jam, and then I had the Met Gala,
Met Gala.
and that's when. But I had a plus one too, but
Yeah.
not really. He was just a friend, so.
But you were like, you saw him alone at the first one.
Yeah.
And then you were like, you saw him.
I mean,
Were you crushed?
I knew he was dating someone.
Did your research?
Yeah. And then, but so a funny story is when we started dating, I went back to our DMs because we had known each other and we had like randomly commented on stuff. And there was a time where T Street broke his collarbone, and I knew like how much he loved snowboarding. And I was like, someone's got to do something for T Street. Like this is like he breaks it on opening day. Like this is so sad.
very sad. It was
So
my
I was like,
fault.
I don't really know anyone else that knows T Street, but like I know this Tanner kid's like best friends with him. So I messaged him. I got an ad for a Make America Great Again hat, and you could personalize it
Ah, yeah.
whatever you wanted. So I hopped on and I looked at the price. I'm like, it's like $30. So I messaged him like, if we did a Make Tyler Healthy Again hat, like, would you chip in and like let's?
And I was like, I don't know this girl, but like, sure.
That's kind of nice. So I'm like, can I ship it to your house? So I shipped it to his house, and they gave it to him. We had never met, or we maybe had met.
I think it was
What
at the
month
Kanye
was
party.
this?
I don't know.
Probably like
This
January
is, like, before Trump-
2018.
Oh no, that's not.
No,
This was the middle of his.
No.
I forgot. It's been around.
Probably January 2018, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so a year and a half before you dated. Before you guys started dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, parties were
2
great.
full years.
My brother wants me to do one more before our wedding, but I kind of want our wedding to be a reuniting of everyone and like just a big old party. So.
Yeah. Yeah, people in Provo would want a party again because they're getting low on ideas. I don't know if you saw it's a party company in Provo.
Oh,
Just
no.
put on a prom.
I saw you.
And I was
saw you
upset.
talk about that. And
You can do it right, and then you can do it really bad.
No, I mean, you
No,
just
don't.
You just don't call it a prom.
Don't call it prom.
No, yeah, you can't do that.
No.
They had a prom queen and king.
Oh my god.
Ooh, I was angry.
I
You gotta
know
be done
you
with
are.
high school.
Yeah, what are we doing?
And that's why I think I obviously don't think I'll do another one. You gotta end it on a good note. Leave them asking for more, and then you just step away. And
You just need to enjoy every aspect of your life, every moment of your life when you're in it, and
When
then
you're
when
in it,
it's
then
time to move on, you just
move
go.
on. I almost did one in LA, and then COVID happened, and
Ooh, that would have been
that would have been a good time.
that would have been a start to something if that
I
really,
know.
really went.
I bet LeBron would
There's
feel
a
that.
Okay.
there's a lot of DJs out there. Yeah, you were close with LeBron, huh?
Okay. Yeah, nope. Said I made eye contact with him a couple times, and
He said he liked your
he
shoes.
said no. One day there was I didn't shoot practice. The main photographer shot practice, and I had to fill in for him one day, and I went and shot practice, and I'm walking around. It's like a 20-minute walkthrough. It's not even a practice. He's stretching, or he's getting stretched by his
I would
trainer.
love to stretch LeBron.
Yeah, his trainer does a great job. I walk by him.
Lucky
He's like,
man.
"Hey, how's it going? Where have you been?" As if I shot practice every day. I'm
yeah.
like, just around. We take turns. Good. How are you? He's like, good. I'm just like, the power that he knows when he says anything or even looks at someone that he knows it makes their whole day is unmatched.
Whole life.
Yeah.
Like on media day, he walked by this, I think she was like an ESPN lady or something in her 40s, 50s, and he goes and just gives her the biggest hug and then just kind of walks away. Good to see you, whatever her name was. And her face was like, she could not control. She was just like so happy, like so
could you
kiddish, but
imagine?
like had to be so professional about it and was just like, oh yeah. It was like priceless. I was like, he knows he makes everyone's day and he's aware of everyone in the room, and it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, it was about. And then I had one other conversation where I was in the middle of, I was right by the players' lounge area in the practice facility, and we were doing a G League photo shoot, and I was with my coworker who has like kind of a good friendship with him. He always recognizes her, reposts her stuff. And I was wearing Yeezys. Like the one day I'm wearing my Adidas, and he walks in and he's like,
LeBron, big Nike guy. If
He's
you
like-
didn't know.
it's like, how do you like those shoes? And I'm like, it wasn't even being rude or like
Yeah.
funny. He was like genuine. He's like, "How do you like those shoes?" And I was like, like I'm a really big Nike girl. Like, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm actually like a really big Nike girl. Like, he's like, no, like I'm not. Like, I was just asking you how are your shoes. I was like, oh yeah, I like them. Like, it was just so uncomfortable.
So insecure.
So insecure.
I mean, it's LeBron James.
Of course, but yeah.
Everything.
Could you imagine?
And then that next day, I pretty much went and bought a pair of LeBrons, and I was like, I need him to like know how much I respect him. And anyways, yeah, those are my 2
You should have told him that Yeezy just jumped over the jump, man. That's what you should have told him.
Should have.
LeBron could jump over a jump, man.
He could.
I think he has, but we're not going to get
We're
into
not
that.
gonna get
We're not going to get into it, but I
this
agree.
week's episode.
But he has. Guys, LeBron is... Okay, I'll probably cut out most of that conversation because the fact that my demographic right now is like
No sports.
81% male. And you coming on is going to help me to make it a little more even. Okay. So I don't want to lose listeners as soon as we start getting into the GOAT conversation.
That's true.
So
Ask
back
me
to
some more.
photography and weddings.
So, what's your editing style?
Girls, we're going to tell you how you can be the next Abigail Keenan. So listen, because she makes money from what she does.
It's true.
I think so many people have hobbies and passions and talents, right? Whether it's photography or whatever it might be, and any sort of trade. And you can, when you're up and coming, you a lot of times just do favors for people.
Yeah.
And for your friends. And that's kind of, you have to start that way. You can't get anywhere, like, everything, like, when you started, everything you were doing was free. You were giving out pictures to the basketball players and all this stuff. I feel like that's a tricky transition, and you know, people who are like, oh, I'm actually friends, might think like, oh, you get a deal, but at some point you turn into a professional, and professionals get paid. What advice would you, like, how did you do it, and then what advice would you give to
I think you have to take, like you said, you have to take in a lot free. I think I took too long to charge in certain ways, but looking back, I'm grateful because it was that much more practice. I think the advice would be, it's kind of tricky, because even halfway through when I really was only charging, there were some things where I'm like, I'm not getting paid for this, but you have to take in the value of that work regardless of the dollar amount. So how much that exposure is going to get you, how much, like, as crappy as that sounds, you have to take that in account, because probably some of my cheapest work at the beginning or for free gave me the most exposure. Even the Laker job itself was $15 an hour. Like, I could be in LA making a lot more money doing freelance stuff, weddings and stuff, but balancing the exposure, balancing what it looks like on your resume, and then getting to the point too when I started paying my friends for things and knowing I do not want this for free. I want to pay my friend. And I'm like, I hope my friends treat me like that, and I'm marketing myself like that. And it makes you also, my advice would be it makes you to step up your game even more. The more professional you look, your friends aren't going to ask for you for favors. So I think the more professional and the more serious you take it, they're going to take you seriously, and they should. Or else, it's like a crappy friend. Yeah. But, like, you do have to do favors, and you can't, it's a weird dance and balance of both of them, but you have to value yourself and value your own time.
Yeah. But once you're solidified, you gotta just, like...
Yeah. And then it gets around. If you decide to give something for free or discounted, you then have to play the fair game of, okay, well, they get a discount, then that person gets a discount, because word gets around, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and it also depends, like, okay, like for you, for example, you, at this point, like, when you were trying to get into sports more, you would go and shoot at, like, I know you went and shot Michigan football, but you did it for free.
Money.
You paid to get there. You asked to get in. You went to Duke basketball and, like, the Atlanta Falcons and the Pelicans, and, like, went to all these different places out of her own pocket to, like, shoot for free because she wanted the content. And at the end of the day, that in her portfolio is what got you the Lakers job. That and, like, having a lot of guts and moving there, and, like, but having that where it's like, listen, I've shot sports, I've done these things, that helps. right?
Yeah.
And so like having that in your portfolio and knowing where you want to go eventually, you have to do those things for free, and you have to put yourself out there, and to where people are like, okay, now they can take you seriously. Like the Lakers, now you were going, like you said, you're being paid $15 an hour, which is like you're basically freaking working for free at that point as a photographer. But it's like now, okay, now you've done that step. Now you want to be paid like a professional for your next job, right?
And just using that work to promote it. If you do something for free and like, it doesn't matter how big the company is, write it up in a way that looks great. Like if you took photos of your friend's like t-shirt company, write that up and be like, photos helped do strategy, brand marketing photos. I mean, be honest in what you did, but like promote what you're doing for free as well. Like it's free on your resume as well.
Yeah, so it's a grind early on, but it pays off. You're investing in yourself.
And last thing on that is all those things that you are doing for free, as cheesy as it is, it's so fun. I paid and went out of pocket on all those experiences, and I would do it again because it wasn't a bummer that I wasn't getting paid, because I did pay to get there and I would pay to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, for example, podcasting, promoting an ad of someone, like, I'll promote this ad for free, and then to your next client, or someone that you want to have paid, be like, this is an example of what my paid ad looks like. They don't have to know that they didn't pay you.
Yeah, that's how I just kind of start making things up and making ads up. Shout out
Kirkland
Costco.
Water.
And
honestly, Kirkland Water
slaps.
It's great, yeah, and it's really,
Sunny.
it really quenches your thirst. And if you are in need of water out there, you can get great deals at Costco. You can sign up for a membership at Costco.com
Seamless.
Provo Expod. And that's a real ad too.
Seamless.
Yes, exactly. And I want to also say, because I know after that last conversation we just had, there are probably some, people out there who might say, oh, well, yeah, you did everything for free early on. You were doing your passion. And, oh, Abby, you're just an industry plant because us poor people in these urban rundown areas, we can't get our start and travel to Michigan and all these games to get our start. And maybe. But also, take advantage of what's around you. It'd be silly to not. And you can go down to get a credit card. If you sign up now, you can get one.
Another advertisement.
What's a good credit card brand?
Amex.
Amex. You can sign up today on Amex.com.
0% financing.
0% financing.
You get $45,000 MQM points for your Delta Sky miles.
It's facts. So don't complain or use that as an excuse, because if you're poor, go to Amex. Use the promo code ProvoXPod.
Free money.
And you can travel to all the games you need and get your portfolio ready. And I know it's a risk because you got to pay interest, but invest in yourself. Do you believe in yourself?
We believe in you.
You don't know the demo of this podcast.
Very true.
That was not a good statement.
They believe in themselves. I believe.
They believe in themselves. Go get yourself in debt. You're not going to make it because you're not talented. But prove me wrong. And clip this and use it as motivation. But as many Abigail Keenans as there are out in the world, there are many. I don't want to get too numerical here, but it's a lot. It's probably thousands, definitely thousands of young women in your situation growing up who think they can do a photography page and then aren't going to make it. But shoot your shot, I guess, right?
Shoot your shot, and if you can't make it a career, it's a great hobby. You get a photograph. You get great photos for your family and for your life, and you don't need to make money off it if you don't want to.
Yeah. And if you get in debt trying...
And you know what? Photos?
They last forever.
They're priceless.
Did you hear that? So pick up your camera today and start shooting. And post it on Instagram. Don't worry about your aesthetic. The more content, the better. So post every day. Maybe multiple times a day. Because everyone that's following you wants to see it.
That's the algorithm
and your following
nowadays
will grow from that. So listen to the algorithm. Keep growing. And if the Amex card doesn't work and you're still not making money after that investment, there's other companies that you can get more loans out of. So don't give up. Just keep going in debt until you can make your passion a living. That's the message today, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The one thing I find interesting, and actually, like, just realized this as we were talking, you, like, people, again, will say stuff like, oh, that's so sick, like, your sister-in-law, like, your brother's girlfriend or whatever, like, ever since you guys started dating. And it's always, there's not, like, one specific thing they know you for. There's three. And it's either they know you because that's the girl who was the Lakers intern. Or, A. Keenster, she threw all the parties in Provo. Or the third one's like, oh, yeah, she did, like, someone's wedding they knew. Oh, yeah, she shot this person's wedding. And it was very balanced. Like, I don't think there was one more than the other where people knew you from. I found that very interesting, like, because you took that niche of, like, going with sports, but do you feel like you're known for different things? Or do you feel like there's one more than the other?
It's interesting. I think I kind of like that I have different friends from different pockets. It's helped me, I guess, see different things, and I just feel like I have a lot of different interests. Like, I feel every 6 months of college I had a new hobby. I love old cars. I had this huge old car phase where I'm like, I'm going to be a car photographer, and then I was like, yeah, it's not going to work. And then I just feel like I kept pivoting and I kept having different hobbies, and that helped me get to know different people. But I also feel like even with the Laker internship, it was like the greatest experience I could have and something I'll always cherish. But I almost use that again of like, not I want to one-up it in an unhealthy way, but like just motivation. Like, that would be great if I was known for that for a little while, but like I want my next thing to be, oh, she's that girl. Or like I just think that's a way of staying on my toes and pushing myself creatively, I guess.
Yeah, pushing your brand. You've self-branded really well, and you know that.
Well, here's the
What's
question.
your comment on that?
Her whole branding is A. Keenster.
I've messaged a Fieldster.
You what?
Because what do you change your Instagram?
There's a girl on Instagram.
Shoot.
Or do you just keep it?
I followed her, and I think she's like very like, why is this random girl following me? And I haven't approached her yet to like, do I buy a Fieldster?
How much you gonna offer?
Do I continue a Keenster and then my name's just Abigail Field? Like, what's the balance there? Because I really love my last name. I've always looked forward to getting my husband's last name. That's not something I'm like doing. So
yeah, I say you got to change it because then people start making the connection to me and.
Yeah, you get notoriety.
Yeah. I can leech off.
Keenster.
That's what I'm doing here. You
You
think I'm like excited to have an sister-in-law? You think I like you like as a person? She's got a platform.
She's got a platform.
She's got to feel obligated to come on her brother-in-law's podcast. This marriage isn't official yet, right?
It's true.
It's true. Gotta lock it down.
I
I'm
could
just
do some
doing
wild
this
stuff.
so you say nice things at the wedding.
Yeah. I know he's probably worried about what I'll do at the.
I was telling her, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna give Taylor the mic. I'm just kidding.
Unless I just want a good.
I told her,
a tiny appropriate roast, and then just like, we're excited.
Oh, I said, listen, Taylor says a lot of outlandish things. We all know that. He's not afraid to speak his mind, but he knows the moment.
He knows when.
Yeah, I did.
You're not gonna say anything inappropriate.
I usually know my audience.
This. Like a speech you told us about.
Oh no,
we're not going to get into, but but like you wouldn't do anything like that.
You know the place and time for the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Let's say this.
And we talked about that. That makes a great comedian, not the cheap jokes.
Yeah. I'm not going to be like go up there and if there's a crowd all full of.
It's not about you.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah.
Most of the time it is, but like that day's not yours.
Yeah, but I'll naturally try to make it about me.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know.
And it'll be good to have that reminder there for sure. But yeah, I'm not going to go up there and say any slurs.
That's all.
Even if there aren't any black people there. So yeah, you can trust me. I won't have anything like that at the wedding. And Tanner, you need to stay quiet during this question. Before you had met me, I know he was very nervous to have you meet me. He's always been that way with people, even his friends and the significant others. I don't know why he thinks I'm some sort of crazy wild card. But which a lot of people do. I get it, but I've never. I get along with people when I try. Once they get to know me, right? Sometimes the first impression is off because I can be a wild guy for sure.
Your first impression was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, when we went down to Vegas, you were so quiet in the back of the car. I was like trying to get a read on you. And then we went through
that's
Vegas.
right. That was kind
and
of the first time
like,
we really...
You were really ready to go to the casino. And then we got canes.
I was really ready to go to the casino.
We said, all right, we were giving you a 10-minute max.
And you come back.
I had to go to the bathroom.
You went to the bathroom in the casino, and then you come back and you were like exhilarated. You were like ready to go. But
I
yeah,
put 20 on red.
you had a great first impression.
Really? But did he give you like warnings? Because that's right. A really first impression. You guys
trip.
picked me up. I sat in the back of the car and we took a road trip to San Diego.
Yeah.
So what was his kind of, what did he say beforehand?
I think it was something that I still believe was just Taylor likes a reaction.
That's true.
But other than that, I was like, he's gonna be. You said he was gonna be pretty chill. Like he's not like. I think it's a good quality that you warm up with people. You're not like out of control out of the gates. It takes a while to warm up, read the room.
I mean, it depends.
Sometimes you gotta push the line a little bit, but when I push the line, and then when I realize, I take a step back.
Sure.
That's funny that he said he looks for a reaction, because if we know someone who likes to react,
that's me.
So that's probably why I end up that way.
Probably.
If we think about my childhood growing up, that's why I look for a reaction. It's probably his fault, because he loves reacting too.
He does.
And we get good reactions out of him.
I do react.
I can rile him up well. So
I don't react as much anymore, but...
Yeah, but I can get you. I know.
I've toned him down.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you have.
That's a good thing.
I guess you've toned me down.
Yeah. Say, keep at and say, who pays the bills around here?
We do.
Yeah, of course, that's nice of you
We don't
to
have
say.
any bills
This
together
is
yet.
our only home.
Yeah, right here.
This room. This is where we live.
So, don't have to pay much. But, that's interesting. What was I going to talk about? Let's see.
Biggest pet peeves.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
I felt inspired to ask you this question. What are your biggest pet peeves?
There's some personality ones, and then there's some like mannerism ones.
Okay, personality.
I feel like I grew up watching movies where there was like a girl character that would act stupid. I'm like, girls don't really do that. And then I got to high school, and it blew my mind that girls actually do that. So when, in any form, girls and boys, when they dumb themselves down to look presentable or more attractive, I just can't. I can't handle it. I have to leave the room. It just drives me nuts. And the mannerisms, I do not like cracking knuckles. It drives me.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's our biggest fight.
That's our biggest fight.
Really?
Because
that's where the scars came from.
I don't know what it is. I don't crack my own knuckles. And it drives me nuts.
Makes you so mad.
I just hate it.
I don't know why.
You know that's a myth, right? The whole like, it's bad to crack your knuckles.
Yeah, she says, it's going to give you arthritis.
No, I don't think...
Arthritis is kind of cool.
I think it's worse. I think it's worse that it's a bad...
You don't know what I'm going to do.
I think it's worse that it's a bad habit. It's like a tick. It's like people cracking their gums. Like when next time you're in the testing center, you should stop and hear how many people are cracking their knuckles. Because it's just like, to me, it's unprofessional. When you're like, I'm serious, people are at a job interview. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, you hate it so much, you notice it. Most people who just don't hate it don't notice it. Don't get this in my mind. I don't want to be flustered everywhere I go.
Yeah, you'll hear it more now.
Yeah.
That's
well, I'm going to try to put that out of my mind because I don't want to have... I have too many issues. I don't want to have that anxiety going on. Yeah, when I'm...
It's a simple one, though. It's not too... I remember one of our first dates, he started cracking. I was like, no.
And I was like, well, you're going to have to learn. Because...
That's dumb.
If they need to crack, they need to crack.
Just go in another room and do it.
Dude, what about cracking, like, your neck?
Oh.
Have you seen people do that?
That's what's kind of weird, is that doesn't really bother me.
Or they do, like,
that's crazy.
I crack my back. Back's fine.
Hypocrisy.
But anything in, like...
You don't like fingers,
reason.
Digits.
Yeah.
Toes?
It's just like 10. It's just like, stop. Like, your back, it's like, okay, it's fine. It's once. You're not cracking it every 10 minutes.
Toes?
But your fingers, it's a nervous tick. And it's
No,
just,
I don't crack my fingers. I have a nervous
I'm not
tick.
saying you.
I think
a
you
lot
do.
of people do.
You get nervous, dude. She noticed on the one of the first dates you were nervous.
No, I think it's someone with his golf swing. He does it. He's just constantly.
You got to give up golf then
when he golfs
to make her
more,
happy.
he does it.
I gotta pick one.
If you want to keep her happy, you gotta get rid of golf.
I like golf, so it's okay.
Yeah, just don't.
So our first date.
Just
Crack
drains
your
all our
knuckles.
money.
But you can win it back.
This is
if
You can win it back.
This
you
is
bet
a funny
on golf?
story.
Yeah, I just bought a cash bag that I can have in the golf course. I just have full of cash that I'll just be gambling. in the golf
No,
course with.
you do not.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we're brothers.
But
Yeah.
funny story.
But like when you're betting on yourself, it's like I don't miss clutch putts.
Yeah, for sure. It's always really good to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul, he does good for me too. So
A funny story is Tanner hasn't met my grandpa because
Ooh.
of COVID.
what is he
And-
like?
The
Freaking
most
cool.
southern gentleman man you've ever met.
Ooh, so
Lives in Georgia.
Lives in Atlanta. Golf.
Hold on, I feel like when you say most in today's world, if you say the most southern man you've ever met,
Okay.
you can't say he's a good guy after that. That's people aren't
That's
assuming
true.
that. This guy is.
He does have. He has some.
tendencies.
Just like a lot of
Racial
grandparents do.
tendencies,
They
yeah.
have. No, he just has some. I don't know.
Subconscious.
Politically, we're not going to talk about that. He is a southern sweetheart. He's a charmer. He goes to the restaurant. He gets us in 5 minutes because he just sweet talks the waitress.
Oh,
He not like that.
me too.
No, he's just a sweetheart and loves golf. He goes on these golf trips with his buddies once a year to
He's
like
basically what I want.
Scotland. He's like a world traveler
Yeah.
golfer, right? So this was like a week or two ago. We're FaceTiming. Within 3 minutes, he's talking about golf
It was
betting.
Masters Week.
Oh.
Masters Week, and
Tanner.
he's like, "Oh yeah, I had so and so on my Masters betting pool for the week, and he didn't do too well." I'm like, "This is my guy right here.
I was like, this is not
This
real. The
is
first
my
conversation.
guy."
And my grandpa brought it up. Tanner didn't even bring
I
it
didn't
up.
even bring it up,
And
Cameron.
Tanner's
He
just
brought it up.
dying, beaming.
Oh,
behind me.
I was
He's
like,
just
"This is the
that
best
would
day of my
that'd
life."
make me happy.
Oh yeah, I'm like, "Oh, you know who I had money on? Also lost."
Yeah,
So it was a good conversation. It was kind of
mourn your losses together.
Yeah, that's
Is-
all about. That's bonding, you know.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like, I mean, I was joking about it obviously, but like, your grandpa's, I'm sure, just the sweetest guy ever. But like, if
It's a different-
someone could take that narrative and be like,
Oh, yeah.
this guy, yeah, he hits on waitresses, he's a sick little pervert,
know.
and like he's a racist, and he's all this stuff because of that. That's how the media
But,
goes
like,
nowadays.
what are you
And it's
suppo-
like he's a sweet kid, like kid.
Yeah,
Southern
and
gentleman.
when are you supposed to cancel all your grandparents because they
Yeah.
have different views than you?
You are, and you are.
And it's just
We got to get rid
sad.
of them.
Like,
That's why
yeah,
COVID tried
Guess
to get
what?
rid of the old
Guess
people.
what? They're gonna die eventually,
Yeah,
so we will
That's
have
how
to get rid of
time
them.
is.
China
and
tried to
it's-
speed it up.
And
They
then
did.
one day we're gonna be the outdated grandparents that are politically incorrect,
Ugh.
which is crazy to think about. But you know what? We try our best.
It's true.
I feel like I had some stuff I was thinking about before that I did not recall or we didn't talk about. And that's why you should
don't
take
write-
notes.
You don't write these things down.
That's why you should take notes and come prepared. And I'm unprofessional and I'm upset with myself. And here I am coming to you
Yeah.
guys in the waning hours of the night, and I didn't come prepared, and you guys waited on me for a live, and I'm just not a good host, and I feel inadequate with, sitting next to people who have, 15 times the amount of following I have on my platforms, and
Person.
I just have no respect for that, and this is why you make money doing what you do, and I don't.
No, it's
So that's
It's all about preparation, folks.
me.
Take
But-
notes.
We can improve. I did want to. This is maybe me just asking for advice. I don't know if I'll include this, but
Let's hear it.
I was thinking about this on the way over. Is you, and especially as you were talking about how and I was making fun of earlier, you're a bad influence for, so many people, but there's also so many people who it's a running joke of, oh, everyone wants to start a podcast, everyone wants to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know, and I really value self-awareness, and you're talking about read the room and understand. And like, yeah, I push the limits, but I know what I do. Everything I'm doing is calculated. And some people don't believe it. My mom and dad don't believe it because they say stuff that's edgy sometimes, especially for them.
Edgy.
But like, it's still calculated. I'm doing it for a reason. I'm trying to get a vibe of how far I can go. But with that self-awareness comes to a fault with things like this. Is like, it took me so long to actually put together and like start a podcast, because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come across as that guy who's trying to make it and that's kind of where I got to. I was like, I gotta just let go of that. Mm-hmm. So did you experience anything like that? I mean, your Instagram was originally designed for photographers, but now it's become something totally different. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different for you, because that's really the platform of Instagram. But did you experience anything like that?
Yeah, I think something that I feel like I've looked back at recently was the popularity of social media when I was doing photography came at a great time, because I don't know if you're like the believer of the 10,000 hour.
Yeah, of course.
That familiar with that, but like I kind of put that through like, okay, I'm going to take whatever 10,000 photos, whatever the number is. I'm going to take a ton of photos. And I had Facebook to just put hundreds of albums on. Mm-hmm. And then I would take my favorite and put it on Instagram or whatever. Instagram wasn't really taking that seriously until like college, and then I was like, oh, like this will get me business 100%. Mm-hmm. And like I have something on my website now where it's like, where did you hear from me? Mm-hmm. 80% is just Instagram. Mm-hmm. I get these random people that I'm like, okay, I get a lot of weddings that are a friend of a friend, but like to know that platform is solely driving business, and to see that like I feel like I did have a great balance, whereas if I was starting now, it would be trickier, because they're always, I don't know, everyone's always going to say it's saturated, everyone's always going to say there's too many, but like, there's always a turn of some kind of media. Like, you couldn't predict whatever TikTokers now are breaking, like, the mold of influencing or whatever it is. You can't predict that kind of content, just like you can't predict a certain Instagram podcast star coming out of, like, I just think the oversaturatedness, like, yeah, you're gonna get those looks and those opinions, but those are gonna happen regardless. And like, I'm grateful that the way that I like did photography with social media was at a time where I could just put it all out there and really no one cared. No one cared about Facebook. Whereas like the teenagers now and like these 15-year-olds who just like are just look like supermodels, and it's just like, well, that's not what I looked like when I was 15, 14. Like, it is different time, but I think it's also like, it's always regardless of, you just have to like, who cares what they're saying. And a big thing is trying it out yourself. Like, 80-90% of the people that are like, oh, another podcaster, they could not be doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Not just because of the actual technicalities of the microphone and all those things, but like the social context of it. Like you said, like self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Not that people who do podcasts aren't self-aware. I think they're even more driven to not listen to that, because if you do anything, you're like, oh, that's so easy, that's so dumb. Like, you go and try and do it. Like, yeah. It's just crazy how I have so much more respect for so many things because of that alone.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that people haven't come up to me, like, giving me a hard time about it. Like, I'm like, people are like, oh, yeah, you got your podcast. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's hear it. And then they're just like...
Oh, they just say it behind your back.
I know, but I want to hear it. I can take it. Like, I make fun of myself, so it's like...
Content.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it. And
go to some more family gatherings or something. Stir the pot.
Yeah, I should, actually, because I'm sure family definitely talks about it.
I would imagine.
That's a good one. Yeah, well, it's interesting. But, yeah, I feel it's also interesting, too, is, like, in the same breath, is, like, I've been surprised how many people are like, oh, yeah, dude, when can I come on? Or, like,
yeah, people want to be on it.
Or, dude, we should do a podcast where we're co-hosts. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I think inviting more guests, and I think that is going to help with popularity, but also just, like, flatter people. Like, people love talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Any last words? Where can, I mean, everyone listening already knows you, probably, but they don't know you.
J. Tanner Field on Instagram.
They know me as...
Abby's cuck.
Sure.
A. Keenster on Instagram. Abigail Keenan photo.
But we're changing it soon?
Maybe.
Oh
We'll see.
yeah, that's another thing.
But yeah, suggestions below.
Suggestions below of what the new Instagram handle should be.
Yeah. Something
we-
with Field. I got to be tied to that.
Field's
to the
a great
club.
name.
Yeah, I got to be tied
It's
to
a
the
good,
club.
strong name.
One thing growing up I was very concerned about is my future last name would be hard to spell. And you guys have a fantastic
Yeah, some people struggle to spell.
I mean, like, come on, Field. It's pretty
As
easy.
you're
People are
putting
like FEI. I'm like,
Heard they want to add an S.
did I say it was plural?
Yeah, I get pissed as hell when that happens.
Right.
It's unacceptable. Have some
Unbelievable.
respect, all
Have
right?
some respect.
You think Keenan would be that way, but people mix it up all the time.
Maybe once we get a celebrity solidified into our family, people will get it right. So we're counting on you, Abby,
That's
to
true.
pull
Abby's
through here.
our last hope.
Yeah.
Got it.
I know you say a lot of people ask you, oh, when are we going to do a pod together? When are we going to have our own, like a co-host pod? But we could make a Pix pod.
A Pix pod.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
jeez.
hear it. Pitch it.
Okay, bye guys.
Oh,
I'll
it's
leave
just
now.
a gambling pod where we.
Oh,
where-
Pix. Well, we were talking about
P-I-C-K-S.
photos all night, and my mind got there.
no,
I was like,
not those
what are we?
pics.
A Pix pod.
We're meant
The
to
Pix
be.
that will actually make some people money.
Yeah, no, I need to tackle a niche. That's the thing I was talking about earlier. I was like, well, I've had actually a couple different people approach me like, you should do sports gambling one because it's probably what I'm most passionate about. But I'm just like, there's so many people who do that podcast, but it's like, yeah, I might as well just start.
It's kind of
right?
fun.
Yeah, I gotta have a niche here because even this
Whoa.
Provo niche, and this place is about to flood, so we gotta wrap up. Thank you for listening and tuning in to the Provo X Pod, and we'll see you around. We'll probably have them around. Family now, hopefully, if this thing goes through. August 7th.
Wedding of the year. Wedding of the century.
Wedding of the century. If it goes through, then maybe we'll have another appearance again, and because I don't pay her, but she's obligated now because of family. So that's also how you do. If you don't want to pay your friends, turn them into family. And then they feel obligated, or there's drama. So,
Let's go.
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure.